before you point your finger to someone else. Because right now it seems like we're probably pointing our fingers at these two men that we ran into, but that's not the case. Because I'm aware of my ignorance too, to maybe their culture or any other culture. So just be aware and just know that the only cure for that is actually educating yourself from other people's stories. Ask somebody about, what I'm saying, once you get to know them, ask them about maybe their culture or certain things. You'll be surprised what you learn. So
yeah.
And then also, don't just be aware of your ignorance, be aware of your privilege as well.
It seemed like we're doing a closing. I still want to talk about the second guy because he had the most impact on me. All right.
We're just doing a closing on the first guy.
We know this is a 9-minute video. I mean, we're trying to make this quick. But it's another guy. After that discussion we had, I was so tired, but at the same time, I was so inspired to do a video because I'm like, this kind of stuff needs to be documented. This kind of stuff needs to be verbalized. So on our way upstairs, it was another guy who came up and confessed to me that he was responsible for my intoxicated resident that had to get taken away by the ambulance. He's Caucasian, and my resident was African American. He said that the reason why he felt responsible was because he offered her shots. But the reason why he offered her shots was because he felt like this resident, along with 3 other African American residents, continuously stayed in the lounge to study or what have you. And he was like, they do it all the time. He was like, and being that it was a Friday night, he felt like, why are you guys in here? Why? He's like, it wasn't about race. It was just the fact that they were in the lounge. And I felt like they shouldn't be doing that because it's a Friday night. So his way of breaking those barriers was to offer this young lady alcohol. And so he felt like, help me out, guys.
Felt like he was building community.
Yeah. By offering this girl alcohol.
Yeah.
And he was like, it kind of hurts him to see that, why are these girls isolating themselves? Why does it always have to be those 4 black girls in the lounge together? And he was like, when he would walk by, it would hurt him because he's just like, they're doing homework and it hurts me because it's just like, it makes me feel like I'm not, doing anything. It makes me feel like a dumbass because they're so studious. And I told him that sounds like a personal problem. But then we had to break it down for him because this is a predominantly white school. When I got here my freshman year, I was the only black student at Stevenson College. And when I would go into the cafeteria or when I would go into the res halls or whatnot, I would constantly see white people together. But I knew due to those circumstances, I had to put up with that. But the fact that it's African Americans now, together, they stand out more. And this is something that a lot of these students are not used to seeing. So it's like, in a sense, are they isolating themselves? But I'm just like, it's not them isolating themselves. It's just that they may feel more comfortable with that set group of people. Just like a lot of white students may feel more comfortable with a larger group of white people. I mean, it's almost like that book where why are all the black students sitting together at the cafeteria?
And outside of race with them, it's just that they feel like they're not into the same activities that those particular students are into. That these particular students that try to get them involved prefer to party a lot, and these particular female residents that we have are not into partying. They'd rather focus on their schoolwork. And so his effort to include them was not to try and get to know them, but to just try and force them into his environment and what he likes to do and get them to drink with him rather than finding out what they're interested in and something they're all interested in that they can do together.
And my lovely friend Alicia Bennett right back here, he was with his girlfriend when we was talking. She said, well, it's just almost like building a relationship before you met your girlfriend. Go ahead, explain it, girl. I'm explaining your theory.
Oh, okay. Girl. So basically when he was saying that how he wanted to build a bond with these, 4 black women, he actually came up to approach us with his girlfriend. So I was saying that instead of making it feeling nervous or feeling like there's tension or any awkwardness, you should try and build a relationship like you would any other person. So I brought up the example of his girlfriend. When you met your girlfriend, you didn't come at her and have to, maybe he did overanalyze, but he approached her just like any other woman. You know what I'm saying? So he probably thought of things that they probably had in common, try to find out her interests, what she likes to do, certain things like that. There's always a foundation to building a relationship. It's the same with anybody. When you meet somebody for the first time, you may say, hi, my name is so-and-so. What do you like to do? It comes to reference to
What's
something
your
like
favorite color?
Something. You don't assume things about them and then try and play off of that. You know what I'm saying? Assuming anything is going to get you into trouble. So you try and find out, you try and get them to talk, and you try and find out what they're interested in whatever. And if you guys have something in common, you have something in common. You build off of that.
Right.
So I was just basically telling him the same thing. It's the same theory. There's nothing different. Just because we're black doesn't mean you have to come at us with a different book. It's the same book. Friendship, relationship, whatever it is, it's the same, out of the same book, same theory. So use that. There's nothing different.
Yeah.
There's nothing different. Don't let the face fool you, because you will always end up in trouble, and you'll always make it feel awkward.
Yeah.
So they're trying. It's a matter of communication. And honestly, when you're communicating with anybody, there's always certain things that you do, you know, just as human beings, getting along and making a connection. There's certain things that you do. So, I don't know. There's nothing different about us.
But he also felt like, you know, I like hip-hop and I love sports. And I don't want to come off like I'm racist. If you like hip-hop and you love sports, that's what you like. Say that.
Say that.
It's okay.
If the other person has a problem with it, then they have a problem with it. But at least you're being true to who you are and you're being genuine. You genuinely like sports and you genuinely like hip-hop. So what? So that's their problem if they have a problem with it. Maybe they have a race issue. That's probably it. It's not you. So don't worry about that. Just try and be yourself. Then you have nothing to worry about.
Yeah. So all in all I can say is if you want to get to know somebody that's of a different culture, be yourself and get to know them.
Be yourself. Don't worry about anything else. You're going to stress your little stuff out. Just be yourself.
What about you, Ash? Ash, what you say?
I would say hip-hop is not synonymous with black people.
I like gospel.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, like the hip-hop that that is in America, you see black people, but hip-hop is international. Hip-hop is a culture in itself. They have hip-hop in Japan, hip-hop in Italy. Hip-hop is everywhere. Just the hip-hop that we see on a day-to-day basis is hip-hop in America. I feel like people should educate themselves on hip-hop, the culture, and not just American hip-hop. That's all I would say.
Agreed. What about you, Karen?
I just feel like how Alicia was saying about the issue of them and they, and that I feel like above being like, yeah, we all identify as black women, but I feel like above anything else, we're just another human being. We're another individual. So when you talk to us, just approach us like another person in your class or anything else like that, and just say, hi, how are you doing? And get to know us as an individual before, and become comfortable with us before you ask us controversial issues. Because that's when it's awkward, is when you don't really know us and you just come up to us and just assume because we're African American that we can be the spokesperson for all African Americans and just tell you everything about what it means to be African American, because that's not who we are. All we can tell you is about who we are and our personal troubles and what we've experienced in being an African American. We can't speak for everybody.
Preach. Two snaps of that. Yeah. But we also know that, you know, typically, well, generally speaking, it is kind of difficult talking to a lot of black women.
Yeah.
And they voiced that. They said
And
that.
the two guys both said, you guys are the hardest people to talk to. And the most intimidating. We have to be intimidating in a sense because we deal with so much crap.
But look at these pretty faces.
But
We're
look.
smiling.
And correction, the first guy said that he had to admit that all black women are the hottest out of all women. So I mean, look at these beautiful faces. He surely did. So he did say that. But I'm so glad this happened tonight. I'm so glad
It was
because
meant to be.
it was meant to happen for us to run into two.
Not one, but two.
Wait, can I say one last thing?
Yes.
That I don't want, like, this isn't to be taken as something as, like, don't talk to us or anything like that, or that we're mad about it. It's just that we appreciate the outreach and that people are making the effort to get to know us, but it's just there's a way to go about it, and that's what this is about, that we want to educate people on how to approach issues that they're concerned with and want to be educated about in culture with other people that they're unfamiliar with.
Because I got some questions for some cultures. But, you know.
We'll leave that
For another day.
another day.
I got some questions for some cultures.
It's 4:22 a.m., but
Yeah.
this is only
I need to go to sleep.
a fraction of a lot of issues that we need to address. Yes.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye.